everything I do is based on my vision. And it's like health, wealth, relationships, and self. It's like, I don't want to be the rich guy that's out of shape, that has terrible relationships, that sacrificed everything in my life to get rich. Like, I want to be wealthy and then want to get off work and I want to hang out with my wife and I want to do fun things. And then I want to have a social circle that's like connected and friendly. I also want to be in great shape and I want to be chasing some personal goals that mean a lot to me. And so for me, Daine, it's like, I believe that the way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. And so I do my very best to show up as my very best to everything that I do. Whether that's like me at the gym and I'm like going into my workout, or it's me coming into this podcast and making sure that I look fresh. But I want to make sure that I like bring my very best into everything that I do. It's the same thing with my relationship. Like, I don't view my work as an excuse for me to come home and not be a good husband to my wife. And if I do, let's say I do come home and I bring some of that negative energy from my work day into, my relationship, then I'm willing to accept full responsibility for the part that I played so that I just want to show up as like the best version of myself at all times.
Hey team, it's Daine McDonald here, the host of the Industry Leader Podcast, where we interview the best and the brightest in the world in fitness, business, mindset, and entrepreneurship. And in today's episode, I've got a very special guest. He's a brother from another mother. His name is Brian Mark. He's the founder and CEO of PT Domination. They are the world's leading online fitness coaches that help mentor trainers to earn 5, 10, and even $100,000 a month in the online space. And in today's episode, we deep dive on a lot of things. We talk about family, mindset, his daily routine, some things that you can be doing right now if you're not online and want to take your business online and start earning an income and living your passion. But also for those of you that already have a successful online fitness coaching business and want to take it to 7 figures and beyond. So if that interests you, click the like button, subscribe, and enjoy the show.
For those that have been living under a rock and kind of don't know who you are, especially in the fitness space, do you want to give a little bit of a background on you, man? Like, obviously, I guess, where you've come from and then where you're at now and kind of the people that you're serving. So a 3-pronged question, but yeah, give us a bit of a, bio.
Cool. So you want to start with where I'm from, like where I came from?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, Brian Mark, I was born and raised by my mom and dad. I'm just playing. So I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. I came from a lower income family. And so growing up, like, I didn't really have a lot of financial resources. And I think that gave me a desire for more. I think that gave me a hunger and a passion for more. Not only that, Daine, I also my whole family when I was growing up just wasn't healthy. Like, we didn't exercise, we didn't eat right. Like, we didn't have our nutrition on point. And so when I was 14 years old, I remember stepping on the scale at 14 and being like, I don't really like this. I don't really like being overweight. And I just decided I wanted to start losing weight. And I didn't really know what that looked like at the time. So I started going for runs, started exercising, started, eating less food, drinking more water. At 14, 15 years old, I just had the awareness. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be out of shape. I don't really like being out of shape. Like, that's not fun for me. So I just want to not do that. And so I started studying fitness, started exercising, started playing sports. When I was, 17, 18, I started, joining the football team and realizing that I had a passion for athletics. And so that's what I wanted to make a career out of. And I didn't really know how to do it at first. So I ended up doing a little bit of bartending on the side to start my career. And when I was bartending, I started part-time online fitness coaching, and part-time online fitness coaching just turned into a passion. And so I've been, I started with a love for fitness because I wanted to get fit myself when I was younger. My desire to be successful was also like ingrained in me at a young age, because when you're born and raised in adverse conditions, you just get I just didn't want to be like that. Like, I didn't want to be 100%. Overweight, and I didn't want to be broke. I kind of fell into fitness coaching, just because I didn't want to work in a gym. So I wanted to do something online where I had the freedom to be able to travel. I was an online fitness coach for 4 years. I grew that business from, 0 to, we ended up serving over 1,000 high ticket online fitness coaching clients. I had 7 trainers that were working for me, all around the world. And, we were servicing clients everywhere. So eventually I got so good at my own online fitness coaching thing that people were like, yo, how are you doing that? Like, I want to learn how to build a business like you did. So in 2018, I started business coaching for personal trainers. And I've been doing that for the last, 5 years. So from 2018 to 2023, my business partner and myself run PT Domination. We've serviced over 4,000. I think we're at 4,500, 5,000 online fitness coaches now. We've got 300 plus of them have hit $10,000 a month. And we're just we're not even just proud of the income though. We're proud of the impact that we're having, because every trainer that we work with, they service, 50 to 100 clients themselves. And then those 50 to 100 clients go out there and they're healthier for their families, and they're showing up as better parents and better members of their community with more energy, more confidence. So we're all about changing the world. That's what we're about. And so that's what we do. We're PT Domination. We service personal trainers who want to take their business online, that want to scale and have more impact and have more freedom.
I think the name of the mentoring program that you guys have, the Change Lives Academy, really just fits it to a T, right? Because I think for a lot of personal trainers, and it's part of the reason how we connected, like, you know, we've come at it from another angle, clean health, where we're educating trainers to be good in nutrition and training and serving their clients and transforming them from a results standpoint. But I think in today's day and space, just because you're a good coach, like, sure, that's a fundamental. It's like drinking water, right? Like, you want to know the science, you want to have the tools, but ultimately that doesn't mean you're going to scale a successful business. And if you don't have a successful business, you're not going to impact people. You're not going to put food on the table. You're not going to provide for your family.
I love that. And I completely agree. And I think you guys do a great job at educating the trainers. I remember I told you this the other day when I saw the inside of your portal, you know, what you guys do at Clean Health. I'm like, man, like the level of education that you guys have and the people that you guys got to come teach, and then the level of value that people get when they're in your ecosystem. I'm like, man, you guys have done a really good job of that. So I think you are doing a phenomenal job at educating the trainers. And I think there's a knowledge gap. And we've talked about this.
Yep.
In Canada and the USA, the knowledge gap is that we have a lot of personal trainers that they might know how to run a business, but they don't know how to service clients on a very deep level.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Like they might know like base level of like calories in versus calories out. Like you can find that on Google. And I feel like a lot of trainers have that level of knowledge, but then, you know, they have a high level of business knowledge, where it is in Australia, it's the opposite. It's like a lot of your trainers in Australia, they're very qualified. They know exactly what to do. They've taken 6 certifications, but they have 3 online clients. And it's like, you need both things. And when I was an online fitness coach, like I was lucky enough to have like mentors, and I'm the type of person, Daine, I don't know if you're like this, but when I see something, I can do it. So I knew of a girl that was like doing, you know, $25,000 a month in Calgary, and she had 100 clients paying her $250 a month. And I remember seeing that. And I'm like, I can do that shit. Like I can do that for sure. So I saw it, and then I could do it. And I also just had a hunger for growth. And so I think I've mentioned this to you as well. Like back before Lane Norton became like big Lane Norton, I just reached out to him after going to a seminar. I'm like, can I pay you one-on-one to just like pick your brain on like how to coach my clients better? And so I always had that thirst for knowledge. You need both. Like you need to have a high business IQ and know how to market yourself, how to sell yourself, how to deliver an amazing service to your clients so they stick around and pay you for longer. And you also need to know like the transformative aspect, like in terms of like the training, the nutrition, the science, the principles, because if you can market and sell and your clients really like you because you're good at delivering, but then the results they get are trash because you don't know how to make adjustments properly or you don't know how to program them properly, it's like you're not going to have a business. Like you need both. And I feel like most trainers have one or the other, not both.
Definitely. And I think, you know, one point I was going to touch base on it later about mentors. And I want to get your insight on this, because I know like myself, you're constantly putting yourself out in front of people. I was just saying to one of our team members before, next week I've got a meeting with 2 people. They probably have a net wealth of about 1.5 billion between them. And I'm taking in my strategic plan for the next 5-6 years and ask them to rip it apart. Right? Brutal honesty, like just literally go in there, rip it apart, rip me apart so that I can rebuild and come back even stronger than myself, which, I mean, hey, as a 40 years old, like I'm continuously doing that. So I know you share the same mindset. Like talk to me about kind of the importance of mentors that you've had in your career, but then how you've taken on that responsibility as a leader within your community globally.
I love it. So first I want to say something, and that's regardless of whether or not you want to pay for your information, you're paying for it. So no matter what, you just have to decide what cost you're willing to pay. You're either paying with time or you're paying with money. Now, most people would rather pay with time, right? They're like, I'm just going to try it out on my own, and I'm going to make all the mistakes, and I'm going to learn all the reference experience, and I'm going to get the reference experience over the course of the next 5 years, and maybe I'll get success. The problem with that pathway, and I'm just going to be transparent and direct, is that 95% of people don't have the courage to last out that path. They just don't. They get a couple failures, and then they're like, I quit. And that's the truth for 95% of people. And if you're listening to this and you don't have a successful business, that's the truth for you too. You tried a couple of things. You maybe posted online for a couple of weeks. It didn't work. And you're like, this isn't working. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. And you just give up. Like I'm under the premise where like, I would rather spend my money to save my time. Like I don't want to spend my time
investment.
Yeah, it's like, I want to spend my money to save my time. And some people might be listening to that and they're like, that's easy for you to say you have money. I was doing that when I didn't have money. I remember when I had literally $1,300 in my bank account. I talked about this on one of my most recent YouTubes. And $1,300 in my bank account, there was a $997 event and it was across the country. So I had to buy the event ticket plus figure out a way to get to that event so that I could actually consume the value. I bought a $150 Greyhound bus ticket, and then I bought $150 worth of meals that I took in a cooler. Like, I didn't even have a cooler because I couldn't afford a cooler. So I had a grocery bag that I took on a Greyhound bus for 72 hours. I was eating rotting food, Daine, by like the third day, but I was willing to do it because I knew that going to the event was going to level me up and challenge me to become a better person. So it's like, I want to spend my money to save my time. I just spent 25 grand to hang out with my mentor for a couple of days, Dan Martell. He did like this private half day. And it's like I was in a room where there was a guy, he runs daily.ai, which is a new AI that's coming out. And he exited one of his companies for $500 million. And he's just sitting across the table talking for me. Like, I was like, I won't get that kind of access to those level of people if I don't spend my money. I'm just not going to get that access. And so
I think there's one thing, not just spending money, but no matter where you're at in your career, what I've found is to put out what you would like to receive back. So i.e., don't be afraid to walk past the person on the street and tip them. Like, you know what I mean? Like the homeless person on the street. I always, if someone asks me, even if I'm busy or whatever, I will give like as much time as I can in the moment, because I'm like, if I was in their shoes right now, I would love to be receiving that information. And I've actually found the more that I've done that, it's like charity, right? The more I've actually given time to the next generation, the more now I'm finding I get people that are further down the pathway than me in their 50s and 60s suddenly coming into my life. And they're like, Daine, let us help you become the next fucking XYZ.
Yeah, I want to jump in on that because that's powerful. You said, put out what you want to get back, right? Yeah. And we've got a lot of personal trainers here that want to mentor and they want to help and they want to guide and they want to teach people. And you as a personal trainer want people to pay you more money, then you need to put that energy out. And I also think it's super funny. This is like transparently, I act how I want my clients to act. Okay. So when Dan Martell told me that it's $25,000 for 2 days at his house, I was like, send me the information. I'm going to wire you right now. Because that's the energy that I'm putting out, because that's the energy that I want back. I think a lot of personal trainers, they approach their online business and they're like, I want clients to pay me in full and I want them to renew for 6 months and I want them to upgrade their programs. But then when they're in their programs, they're like, oh, I don't want to upgrade, or like, I'll pay you in like a couple weeks when my paycheck comes in. It's like, if you're acting like that, that's why you're getting clients like that. So that idea of like, put out what you want back, energetically speaking, applies on every level. And I love what you said about helping the next level up, because that's like, I think that's what mentorship is. Mentorship is like, for me as a mentor for others, I believe it's my responsibility. And I feel like that this is my truth. And maybe you'll find it useful. I believe it's my responsibility as a mentor for other people to constantly two things. Number one, be reaching up to grab the next level. And if the next level means that I need to take money out of my bank so that I can invest in myself, and investing in myself means getting around a room of people that are at a higher level than me so I can learn from them, right? I need to be doing that. And then I also need to be reaching down and pulling the next person up. Yeah. Like, hey, I see you struggling. How can I help you out? Like, and this is what we do for our fitness clients, right? Like, if you want to be a good leader for your fitness clients, then you need to be constantly reaching for the next level. And your fitness clients, when they're struggling, you're like, hey, buddy, come on. I've already been through this.
Definitely.
Like, let me help you. Right.
So talk to me, obviously, you know, and that's an awesome mentality to have and to go and approach every day with. Talk to me though about your day. Like, you know, obviously a lot of people, as you said, they'll be like, oh, it's easy for you to say, Brian, you've got money and blah, blah, blah. And you and I both know that hasn't always been the case for you. Like, what have you done from a habit perspective each and every day to kind of build up this relentless mentality that is allowing you to attract this type of, you know, success and abundance into your life now?
I want to say something really quick. I want everyone to understand something. And that's like, I would act like this if I acted like this when I had $0, which is why I have millions of dollars now. It's like, if you took everything away from me, Daine, this is what I would do. Okay. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, every single morning. Once I wake up, I do my shower because everybody needs to shower. Otherwise you smell gross. Let's be honest. Brush my teeth, etc. I actually lay out my clothes the night before, wake up at 3:30 in the morning, grab my clothes, get ready. I go downstairs, and the first thing I do right now, you guys, and this is my morning ritual right now, first thing I do when I go downstairs is I work on my vision. Okay? I work on my vision. I've got health, wealth, relationships, and self. So I sit down, I've got this Microsoft Word document, and I sit down and I open this Microsoft Word document and I ask myself, like, I read what I've written down, the outcomes that I'm going to achieve that are already done. I read out these outcomes, and I'm like, if they resonate on a deep level, I'm like, perfect. But maybe sometimes I change a couple words. And I'm like, I actually want to change this, and I want to change this. And I do this for 10 to 15 minutes, okay? After this 10 to 15 minute time frame of me reviewing my vision and the goals that I want to achieve, then I go and I meditate for 10 minutes, and I do it silently. I set a 15-minute timer on my iPhone, and I just breathe for 15 minutes. And what I do when I meditate is I just focus on my breath. And sometimes I allow my thoughts to sort themselves, because like I've got a lot of stuff going on up here as an entrepreneur. So sometimes I let my thoughts sort themselves. Sometimes I calm myself down on purpose. Sometimes there's an area of my vision that I'm like, I feel really called to like explore. So I'll just think about that specific area of my vision. Sometimes there's a problem in my business that I'm trying to solve. So I'll sit there for 15 minutes and I'll let my mind consider the problem. But 15 minutes, I do that meditation. After that meditation, I get out of the meditation, and I've got a letter to myself with my short-term goals, my 6-month short-term goals. It's actually funny. 6 months ago, I recorded a letter saying that I was going to hit 35,000 followers. It actually said, I'm so grateful that I hit 35,000 followers, and I just hit 35.7 thousand. So every time I hit my short-term goals, I re-record a new letter, and then I keep listening to it until I hit those goals. And then I set a new letter. Then I go to the gym, I take care of myself. And that morning ritual, plus me going to the gym to start my day every day before I take care of anything else, is why I'm successful. Everything else that happens throughout the day is a result of the momentum that I generated in the morning. And the reason that I get up at 3:30 is because I know you guys are all sleeping. All right. I know that me getting up at 3:30 means that everybody else in the world is sleeping. And I like having a slight edge on everybody. I like knowing that I'm waking up when everybody else is still asleep. And by the time I get home at 6 o'clock in the morning, most of you guys aren't even up yet. I've already completed 3.5 hours of my day.
I love it.
So that's why I do it, bro. It's like I have that edge every single day. And that extra 3.5 hours might not seem like a lot, but you times that 3.5 hours by 365 days, boom, like I'm there. Like I'm advanced, I'm ahead. And that's why I keep making progress. And so I want to find ways that I can have an advantage. Like I understand there's a lot of competition in the world, and like I get it. The world's abundant enough for everybody, but I'm coming to get mine. Like I'm a fucking shark. I want to eat. Straight up, bro.
Feed the man.
That's
and
right.
So talk to me, and I kind of, and I love that, man. Like, I mean, how have you found, for example, like meditation, kind of sitting in that space and it kind of linking in with your intuition? You know, you and I think have spoken about this ourselves. I tell people I make decisions in life based on data and intuition, generally speaking. Obviously, you know, you can't do that all the time, but especially when it comes to business, I'll look at the data and then I'll sit with it, see how that feels to me within my body, and then make a decision. Like, how does that kind of factor into your decision-making process?
That's a great question. So first things first is I think that when you know exactly where you want to go, the universe will help you get there. Okay. So step number one is you need to have a clear destination. Like imagine if I gave you, like if I just said to you, Daine, like I want you to get on a boat and come to Canada, and you just left your house and you had like, you're like, where do I go? Right. But if you had a map and you're like, so I think that people just don't make the decision on where they want to go. And because they don't make the decision on where they want to go, they can't trust their intuition. Because oftentimes your intuition will pull you back into your history, right? Your intuition will be like, oh, you know, I should sleep in today. My body feels like I need to sleep in, right? You'll just like say these weird things to yourself to justify, make excuses for why you're not successful. But if you create a vision and you're like, my vision is that I'm in the best shape of my life, that I'm lean, that I'm confident, that I'm strong, that I'm healthy, that I show up with energy and passion and intensity. And then your intuition will tell you, I should get out of bed right now. Like that little nudge will start to work in your favor. And so I think that your intuition will guide you in the direction of your vision. So I think if you have a vision and you know exactly where you want to go, I view your intuition as this like gut instinct. That's like sometimes like, I don't know about you, Daine. I don't know if this is true for you, but sometimes I don't even have all the data in front of me to make a rational decision, but I literally, my gut is like, go. And I'm like, okay. And I just do it. I don't know if that's true for you or not. But
I had an example of that yesterday. Basically with a project that we're working on, we ironically decided to explore the opportunity of having some partners in this project. And so they came over to my house yesterday. We sat down in the office and kind of went through, their vision for this particular thing, our vision. And then it kind of got to a place where it's like, okay, well, look, our visions are aligned. And I hadn't expected to get to this point, but I said, look, this is based on that. I'm keen to move. This would be my recommendation for kind of the split, right? We'd establish a new business. This would be the split. This is where I'm willing to go. Are you in or out? And they kind of just looked at each other and said that we're in. And like, so like I have a vision and intention of what I want this particular thing to be. Yeah. I don't know the numbers, the details in that right now, but after having that meeting and sitting within it, I just knew, like, you know what, now is the right time to move. And I think inaction for a lot of entrepreneurs and people in general is like, it's like the biggest fucking castration, habit that you could do.
Yeah. The biggest reason that most of you fail is that you never get started in the first place.
Yeah.
It,
what would be your advice to someone like you? And you've spoken, just to touch base on that, like having a vision, having an intention and stuff like that. What if you're actually at that point where you're actually a little bit lost, like you don't know? And I know, like I've been at that point in times of my life, like not necessarily clear on what we want. I know you have. What would be your recommendation to someone listening right now that's like, oh wow, like, Brian, this and that, like, what would be your advice?
First of all, I love this conversation. This is cheering me up and making my day. I'm just having a great time. I feel like I'm in flow right now. So I think this is like, motivation is two things, you guys. We're either working towards something or we're working away from something. It's like, I need to get away from this thing, or I really, really, really want to get this thing. And so if you're unclear of exactly what you want, you're like, I don't really know what direction I want to go in. I think that you need to get disgusted with the situation that you're currently in. Right? So this is the truth. Like for me, Dan, I remember when I was like 14 years old and I stepped on the scale, and this is how I started my fitness journey. I literally stepped on the scale at 14. I looked down. I realized I was 170 pounds. I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, you're fat and I don't like this anymore. I was like, so we're going for a run and we're doing it right now. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this situation, but I know that and this is the thing. I want everyone to, like, this is the sentence. I'm no longer willing to allow myself to tolerate this. That's it. I'm not willing to allow myself to tolerate the level that I'm playing at anymore, period. And then from that choice, like, that's where action will come from. And I feel like as you start moving forward and taking action from that place of like, I'm not willing to tolerate this level anymore, you start to figure it out along the way. Because like you said, inaction will kill your dreams. So it's like, you need to get like I always say, you need to get disgusted with the level that you're currently at and understand that you let yourself get here. Nobody else did that for you. Like, if you're not happy with your life situation, it's not the government's fault. It's not COVID's fault. It's not somebody else's fault. It's you. You made the decision to end up where you are right now. And when you actually understand that you chose to be here, you can also understand that you can choose to get out. But you have to be like, if you're not sure where you want to go, then you need to make the decision that you're no longer willing to tolerate the level that you're currently playing at.
I think, and that actually links in. You've opened up a can of worms for me, so we're going to fucking go there, man. That also comes from a place of accepting radical responsibility, right? And I think that also links into, I guess, your values, your human being. Are you able to kind of obviously push the ego to the side to kind of actually accept that the choices that you've made have led you to where you're at in life right now, which kind of links into, and you mentioned, the C word. You made a choice actually in 2020, 2021. You gained a bit of notoriety there in Canada on the national TV and stuff like that with your gym, Iron Energy, when obviously the government was imposing all these mandates and lockdowns, and you were basically like, no, I refuse to accept this. Talk to us about kind of what made you stop, draw a line in the sand and not go with the status quo, and not have fear. Because I think that's a big thing that holds people back just from anything in life, whether it's their business, whether it's their physique, but not have fear that this was going to ruin you or X, Y, Z, and stick to your guns.
It's like the quote from the movie. I'm not sure exactly what movie it is, but it's like, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I feel like so many people just literally meander their way through life.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. So for a quick backstory, for those of you guys that don't know what happened in 2021, obviously with the pandemic and everything, they closed literally everything. And in Canada, it wasn't as bad. So we didn't really it didn't really affect us that much. So I wasn't really saying anything. They were telling us to wear the mask and they were telling us to stay inside. They were telling us to get the jab. And I actually got vaccinated because I wanted to travel. And it was like, if you don't get it, you don't get to travel. And I'm like, well, I want to travel, so I'm going to get it. And I didn't realize how messed up it was until I went to a Shoppers Drug Mart. And I remember this was like after the wave had hit and everybody was kind of starting to relax a little bit. And I wanted to walk in without my mask. And I remember I was walking around Shoppers and I was literally like petrified to be in Shoppers without my mask. I was like so afraid. I was like, what? Like, and then I remember getting into the car and I looked at Kirsten. I was like, I literally am programmed right now.
Yeah.
I was like, I was afraid of a lady at Shoppers telling me to put my mask on. Like I was like petrified. And I was like, that is crazy that I am petrified to take my mask off. And then I was like, this is weird. And so that was the first indicator that I was like, something is sus. And then in December, they created a mandate where they're like, everybody needs to close their gyms. The gyms are closed. The malls are like, everything's closed. And so I remember being like, this is irrational. Like everything was closed, but you could go to the mall Christmas shopping and you could go to the casino and gamble, but you weren't allowed to go to but you weren't allowed to go to the gym and exercise because
so the government can collect their taxes.
Shoulder to shoulder in the mall as long as you're going Christmas shopping, but don't work on your health. And so I remember like me and the other owners were like, nah, like that's not going to be us. So we were going to stay open and we stayed open. We kept it a secret. But then 2 days into us doing that, cops walked into the back door and they're like, you guys got to close. And so we were like, okay. So we had an owners meeting and I was like, we're either going to bow and comply or we're going to open. And then when we decided to open, I was like, also guys, if we're going to open, we're going to bark. I'm like, we're not just going to be open. We're going to be like open. So I remember we opened our doors and we posted our open sign on Instagram. And that led to crazy chaos. And we ended up being on like national television. We were like in a court ordered battle against the government for like 3 to 6 months. They closed our doors. They locked us. They were like threatening us with court cases. We had over $30,000 in fines. It was wild. But the reason that I made the decision to stay open instead of close my doors is, again, like I was no longer willing to tolerate the reality that we were living in.
Yeah.
And like one person making the decision that they're no longer willing to tolerate the reality that they're living in is like, they can make like a really big difference. And I remember there was a lot of people, even to this day, bro, like I'll go out to the grocery store and they'll be like, you're the free BC guy. I have a lot of clients, including one of them that's listening to me right now. That's like, dude, like you literally gave me hope during that time. Like my gym was closed and I saw your gym on the news and I realized that somebody was standing up. And that's what gave me the courage to start standing up and realizing that there was light at the end of the tunnel. So it's like one person can make that big of a difference. And if I'm one person that literally was born and raised in a trailer park that came from nothing, then like my main core message in life and like what I'm here to do is I'm here to inspire more people to step into their voice and use their voice and step into their power. Like that's literally my purpose in life. Is like, I want people to realize that you have the power to like not only change and shift your own reality, but like to actually make a massive impact on the planet and to help other people realize that as well. Like we can change the planet. Like if one person makes the decision that they're going to be phenomenal and then they start like elevating everybody else around them, like the world just becomes a better place.
It's the equation is this: the power of free will plus choice times time equals change. So like we all have the free will to make the choice, and you demonstrated that both on a personal level, but then also just from a society level, which kudos to you for doing that, brother. I wholeheartedly agree with that. You kind of know which side of the fence I sit on with that stuff. And, I think that was a great move by you on your side, like just sticking to your guns. Like it doesn't mean that your opinion is right or wrong because everyone is entitled to their opinion. But I think, if you approach life from a place of consistency in every aspect, whether it's in the way you communicate with family, with society, with business and things like that, you're going to have a much more fulfilling experience as a human being. How do you found kind of like your values and your philosophy has translated into the family life? Because obviously you're a husband, you're a father. Talk to me a little bit about the importance that plays in your life on a day-to-day, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a family man.
Well, I think that, at the start of this call, we talked about vision, and I referenced back to it because everything I do is based on my vision. And it's like health, wealth, relationships, and self. It's like, I don't want to be the rich guy that's out of shape, that has terrible relationships, that sacrificed everything in my life to get rich. Like, I want to be wealthy, and then I want to get off work, and I want to hang out with my wife, and I want to do fun things. And then I want to have a social circle that's like connected and friendly. I also want to be in great shape, and I want to be chasing some personal goals that mean a lot to me. And so for me, Daine, it's like, I believe that the way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. And so I do my very best to show up as my very best to everything that I do, whether that's like me at the gym and I'm like going into my workout, or it's me coming into this podcast and making sure that I look fresh, even though I was a few minutes late. Sorry about that. I was on a meeting, but I want to make sure that I like bring my very best into everything that I do. It's the same thing with my relationship. Like, I don't view my work as an excuse for me to come home and not be a good husband to my wife. And if I do, let's say I do come home and I bring some of that negative energy from my work day into, my relationship, then I'm willing to accept full responsibility for the part that I played, so that I just want to show up as like the best version of myself at all times. And sometimes it's not the best, but when it isn't the best, I try to rectify that and take responsibility and make it better. But I think it's all encompassing, bro. I think health, wealth, relationships. And so how I try to show up for my family is exactly how I try to show up for my business, is exactly how I try to show up for my fitness goals. It's like with a commitment to excellence. Like, I want to be excellent in everything that I do. Right. And I want to empty the tank in every area of my life. And so I try to be great at everything. Like, I don't believe in this idea that I have to sacrifice my family in order to build my business. Like, I'm going to do both. And there might be seasons where I'm focused more on family or focused more on business, 100%. But like, I'm going to be good at both,
Definitely. And let's kind of take the part that you mentioned there about business, because obviously we touched on this at the beginning that, I guess your core business is serving personal trainers to take their business online and create, financial and lifestyle freedom. Like, online coaching, in the fitness space has become such a big thing the last few years. You and I have spoken a lot about this, in that there's a skill attached to that, which, as I've mentioned to both you and Cole, seeing that myself, seeing what you guys are about, and kind of, recently kind of going through your guys' course as a student and kind of, stuff like that and applying it, I've seen the value. But like, what would you say are kind of, 3 to 5 key things that personal trainers out there right now are either not doing or can do to really start building a successful brand and business online, and kind of transition from, the world as we know it in many ways, the systems and the programs and the hierarchy is shifting. There's been a paradigm shift on the planet, and in particularly in fitness. And I think you really are leading that paradigm shift in the online space, right? So again, 3 to 5 things that you feel, trainers could do right now to help them make that shift.
Cool. Thing number 1 is going to be the easiest one, and it's going to be the most simple. If you're a personal trainer listening to this and you're not posting 5 times a week, you are missing a massive opportunity. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are literally all free. Yeah. Free marketing. If you go, let's go back 20 years and say that you want to build an online coaching or a personal training business. You literally have to go door knocking. You have to create flyers. You have to send out pamphlets. Personal trainer, can pull out your iPhone right now. If you have a Samsung, get an iPhone. Let's be honest. iPhones are cooler. Pull out your iPhone right now. Take a photo, post on Instagram, you're attracting clients. It's literally that easy. And so many personal trainers don't do that because they're like, I'm trying to get my certification first, or I don't know who my avatar is, or like, I don't know what kind of content to post. Just post something. Yeah. Literally post anything 5 times a week for the next 365 days, and you're going to get client inquiries, period. So that's number 1 is you need to post. Number 2 is you need to study content, sales, and online marketing, just like you study to get your personal training certification. So many personal trainers understand that they need to know how to train in like training and nutrition, et cetera, but they don't understand that like the business skills are equal to, if not more important, because if you get all these certifications and you have 0 clients, it's not going to matter. And so you need to study content creation, sales, online sales, DM sales, how to set up your profile online. You need to study that stuff just as intentionally as you would study for your personal training certification. So that's the second thing. And I think the third thing is to try to connect with people that are already doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can connect with a personal trainer that's already built a successful online business, and you can even pick their brain and ask them a couple questions and like get some insight on what they're doing, like that's really going to give you a lot of clarity. And that's the benefit of joining a mentorship program, by the way. And like shameless plug, mine's awesome. But even if you don't join mine, if there's other mentorship programs that you're in or you're a part of, like that's the benefit, is there's a community. There's a group of people that all share similar values, that are all building online businesses, that you can bounce ideas off of each other. So the sooner that you can get around a group of people, and maybe you're not ready to join a community yet, but you know of somebody that is online training that's making 5K a month, like connect with them, send them a message and be like, hey, can I pick your brain, ask you a couple questions? So I would say like be consistent. And I think be consistent. You need to study more, and you need to join a community or like connect with somebody that's already doing it.
Definitely. And I think the community aspect, like, you know, like you, like I know from a place of certainty that when it comes to, you know, personal trainer and nutrition education, we are the best in the world. But in saying that, if it doesn't vibe with you, that's totally cool. There are other businesses and people out there that you can learn from. I think it's just, you know, again, taking that step, having some action and moving towards that goal.
With urgency.
You know, what would you say, making a little shift here, like AI for you and where your business is at? Like, have you started to integrate AI into your business? And what are some of, I guess, the pros and cons that you've used to kind of, you know, integrate that?
So I actually just went to an AI seminar with Dan Martell, and to be fully transparent, we haven't integrated it into our business yet, although it's a project that we're actively working on right now. And the way that we're going to be using it in our business is we're going to be designing a newsletter coming out pretty soon. And so we're going to be having like it's really, really cool. Actually, it's like this AI designed newsletter. So what it does is it literally combs the internet once it knows your avatar. And it will comb the internet. It will take all of the content that you've ever produced ever, and it will curate your content to the avatar on the internet, and it will send it out to your email list. And also as well, it will read the data of the people that are opening the list from the stuff that they're opening versus not opening. And then the 6 month down the track thing is they're going to be able to customize emails specifically for the people that opened your email. So it'll be like, hey, Dan, I noticed that you checked out this most recent email on blah, 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 blah. And so I think that something that would be a great next step for you is and like making offers based on what they're reading. So that's what's coming down the pipeline. It is actually pretty crazy. There's also another AI software that you guys can literally go online right now and you can search it up. It's searchy.io. And what they're doing at search.io is extremely powerful. Again, you can literally upload your content, and it creates like a mini version of you. So it's like if you have a bunch of content, you can upload it out, and then people can ask it questions, and it gives Daine McDonald answer based on the data that you've inputted. So there's some crazy stuff coming down the pipeline that I want to start experimenting with, and that's why I went to this AI conference, because like whether or not we like it, like AI is here, and it's something 100%. It's something that we all need to learn. One of the things that I think I can give to the podcast audience and that I think will be useful is that for those of you guys that aren't using ChatGPT, start using it and use it as a co-pilot. And a co-pilot means this, like, even if you had, Daine, if you had an intern working at your company, you wouldn't take the intern's work and then send it out to a client. Like, you would always review it. And so ChatGPT is something that you can use to start your drafts and then, use those drafts and edit those. But like, we shouldn't be doing anything from scratch anymore. We have ChatGPT. And so using it as a co-pilot to make things faster and then reviewing the work and editing it and making our own, I think is a useful way to start viewing ChatGPT.
I think for a lot of like solopreneurs where it's kind of just them and they're doing that, these tools can really help, 3 to 5x the amount of output that they're getting, right? So it's like, I don't have the time, I don't have the skill and do that. There's actually tools out there now that 12 months ago weren't there.
Yep. 100%.
Literally weren't there. So I think, again, if you look at the traditional excuses of I don't have the time, I don't have the skill, I don't have that, they seem to be falling more and more by the wayside, day in and day out.
Yeah.
So talk to us. You were speaking literally just then about, we were talking about mentoring and the academy and stuff like that. And look, I do want to give you guys a selfless plug because I really believe in what you're doing. What do you feel separates the Change Lives Academy apart from other programs out there in the space, when it comes to mentoring for fitness professionals?
Let me sit with that for a second.
Because it's like, there's so many different programs out there these days. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is an online fitness coach or a business coach. But what separates you guys?
We as the founders care more about our clients than any other business coaching program on the market, period. Every other business coaching program on the market has their own margins top of mind, and we have our clients' results top of mind, which is why we have so many students that have hit over $10,000 a month. It's like our client results are top of mind. And so everything that we do inside of our program is designed to get our clients results. So we have 5 coaching calls a week so that if you ever want extra support or guidance, you're done the modules and you want to learn more, there's a call for you. Also, when somebody joins our program, the first 6 weeks, we have what's called the Wolf Pup Chats, where literally we hold your hand for 6 weeks to make sure that you feel successful, to make sure that you're in momentum, to make sure that you understand the course. When you do hit your milestones, we celebrate you. Like we celebrate our clients. We are like pumped for our clients. Like when our clients win, they hear from us. Like we are like their biggest cheerleaders. We're their biggest supporters. And we're not supporting them because our goal is to upgrade them into the next level program. It's like when we're celebrating a client, like we buy them a hoodie. We like give them a number. Like we're like popping off for them in the Facebook group. So like our client results are top of mind at all times. And that's why we're the best. There's no other business coaching program on the market, period. You can't name one that has 13 clients that have hit over $100,000 a month. One of our clients has hit $534,000 a month as an online fitness coach. He's actually been through all of Clean Health's programs, by the way. He's done them all, which is incredible. His name's Don Lamb. Our 307 students that we've helped hit $10,000 a month. And like, if you think about it, Daine, like we have 1,390 clients that choose to stay with us on a recurring monthly basis. Think about the level of service that we must give in order for those clients 100%. To consider making that decision.
Yeah.
It's like they're making the decision to stay. So it's like we care about our clients and we want to see them win. And everything that we do at PT Domination is about helping our clients generate more revenue, make more of an impact, change more people's lives. Like that's where the ripple effect is all about.
Let me actually ask you on one of the point there. You mentioned the 13 coaches in your ecosystem doing 100,000 US a month, right? That number for a lot of solopreneurs and trainers that might now be kind of working out of a gym charging $50 a session seems unfathomable, right? Yep. Unrealistic, full of shit, blah, 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 right? What have you found, like what are some of the common denominators between those 13 people that have allowed them to achieve that level of success where, they're earning, they're doing 7 figures of revenue with very high margins as online coaches?
So that's a great question. And I actually want to break this down because I've never actually done this on a podcast before. So for somebody that's making $100,000 a month, these are people that have, they've got departments. So somebody that's making $100,000 a month is not taking home $100,000 a month. Of course. Somebody that's making $100,000 a month. So they're the CEO or they're like the head of the company. And then they've got somebody that leads their sales team. They've got somebody that leads their coaching team. And they've got somebody that leads their operation team. Now on their sales team, they might have 1, 2, 3, or 4 virtual assistants that are helping them generate calls or generate applications so that they can sell people by chat or sell them on the phone. For their coaching team, they've either have like 3 or 4 assistant coaches that are helping them with their clients. Where like there's an assistant coach inside of the business that we sign somebody onto the team and then they get delegated out to a coach. Yep. So there's either 3 or 4 of those, or there might be 5, 6, or 7 subcontracted trainers where the trainer's working for the organization. And then the trainer gives a percentage of the revenue to the organization in return for like the structures, the training, the nutrition, like all of the business practices. Like the trainer gets the benefit of the brand and also all the business practices. And then the operations department is running all the failed payments, all the client renewals, all of the, contracts, all the disputes, all this stuff that has to do with operations. That's the operations manager. So I think when people think $100,000 a month, there's most people think through the frame of like, there's no possible way that I will ever be able to generate $100,000 a month. And you're right. You won't be able to. What you can do though, is you can build a team of 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 to 15 people. And those 15 people are helping take some of the workload. Like one person's doing lead generation, one person's booking phone calls, one person's making sale, right? So like, that really is what most people don't understand when they hear $100,000 a month is this person has a team of people that are helping them generate that revenue. Fully transparently, also another thing that we need to talk about, like for all of you guys that are business owners, like if you want to be a business owner that keeps like high margins, maybe you want to just make like $10,000 to $15,000 a month, you can do that and keep high margins where like 80% of that revenue belongs to you as an online trainer. If you want to start making 6 figures, 7 figures a year, or we're talking like, we're talking about like $100,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, your profit margins are like good profit margins for the mastermind are like 60 to 70%.
Yep.
Because you've got people that you need to like delegate different stuff to. So somebody's going to be handling all the leads, somebody's handling operations, etc. So your profit margins are 60%. So let's say you're making $50,000 a month. You might be keeping $30,000 of that. But in return for that profit that's going out or the expenses that are going out, you're generating that revenue and you don't have to message clients all day, every day. You don't have to generate the lead. You don't have to get on the sales calls. You don't have to make the appointments. And so you're making $30,000 a month and you have somebody handling all the stuff that you don't want to do. Like that's what happens when you grow a business. And so I think that most trainers, personal trainers, are thinking through the lens of like, I am a personal trainer, but in order to get to $100,000 a month, you need to become an entrepreneur.
100%.
And an entrepreneur runs a business that has people that help them run the business.
And it's kind of not identifying as the PT per se from a, like I went through the same process where I was the practitioner and I had to evolve from being the practitioner, the coach, to the business leader and the mentor to the team. So because I'd gone through that journey, I was able to really, understand as a former trainer myself, what my team was going through and be able to give them the right advice. But it was definitely, it took me some time to really identify and like, oh, wow, actually I have a 7-figure business now. I can't approach this every day with my personal training hat on.
And so for those personal trainers that are listening to this, that like hear that $100,000 a month mark and think it's unfathomable, it is for you and that's okay. Focus on getting to $10,000 a month because you can do that as a solo online fitness coach. $10,000 a month, if you're charging $300 per month, is 33 clients. Like 33 clients, if you learn how to market yourself, how to sell your service, how to get better at content, and how to deliver an amazing service to those clients that come on board so they stick around, 33 clients is not that far away. I would say it's like a 6-month journey if you actually commit and you go all in.
Definitely.
Straight up.
And what would you say?
$10,000 a month, then you can start thinking like, okay, like I'm actually doing way too much lead generation or I have way too many clients. Maybe I should hire somebody to help me fulfill with these clients, right?
So for the trainer, and I asked this question because I know we've got quite a few online coaches in our ecosystem, the clean health community. They're on that kind of 10 to 20, 25,000 a month, right? As online coaches, they're earning 200 to 300,000 a year as an online coach. They're traveling and doing that. How do they, like, what have you found people that have gotten to that level, right? So that's an awesome level, great. What kind of stops them from getting to that kind of next level that we were talking about? Is it, from your experience, the identifying as the PT and not the entrepreneur, or are there other things?
Lack of desire.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that when you get to $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000, it's very easy to get comfortable. You don't really need any more money at that point, to be honest. Like your life isn't going to get significantly different between $25,000 and $50,000 a month. It's not. So it's like, I think it's lack of desire because let me tell you something, Daine. If you truly want to hit $100,000 a month, if you're like, I not only do I want it, I deserve it and I'm hungry for it. Like you will find a way to do it. And if you can't do it at the level that you're doing, because like if you're making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, I'm assuming you know how to make money. And so if you actually really, really, really wanted to hit $50,000, then you would sell as many clients as you possibly could in order to get to 50. And then you would burn out at 22K. And then you'd be like, I don't like this. I need to learn how to get past this level, how to get to 25K without burning out. And then you would find a way to do it. You're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Maybe I need to go find a mentor to get me there. But I think at $10,000 to $15,000 a month, you just get comfortable. You're just chilling.
I think a lot of people want to eat, they have that idea that that's the level that I want to get to. But when they actually get into that lane and start heading down that path, a lot of the time they're quite comfortable just to get to, they realize that the black belt that they thought that they want, they only really need a purple belt.
Everybody want to be a bodybuilder. Nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight.
Yeah. I think like
everybody wants to eat, but nobody wants to hunt, right? It's like you want to eat, like you're like, I want to be a millionaire. I want to make more money. I want to travel the world. You want to eat, but you're not willing to hunt. That's why I said at the start of this podcast, I'm a shark. So I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I want to stay hungry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm already successful. Like, Daine, I've made more than enough money. I'm good. I could chill. But that doesn't matter. right? That doesn't matter. I'm hungry. Like, it's like, once you see, like, this is how I view life. Okay. It's like, once you start to go all in yourself and you realize that you're capable of more, why wouldn't you explore that? Like, why wouldn't you, like, why wouldn't you, like, yo, I can do this. Like, I'm already doing this. And 6 months ago, I'm light years ahead of where I was 6 months ago. Why don't I keep exploring that? Right.
I think the advice I give people is like, whatever you kind of want to do in life, that's totally cool. Right. I think the sooner you can get to a place of self-awareness, and sometimes that means accepting certain realities or putting the ego to the side, or kind of, because I get it as you do, people like, wow, awesome life, awesome house, awesome wife, awesome kids, and all this type of stuff. But it's just like, the universe gives you the duality of positive, and I don't necessarily like labeling it, but like pros and cons, right? And so in life, I have not met anyone that's had 100% pros their whole life. There's going to be ups and downs. And obviously, I think the more you strive to create legacy, build an empire, there's a lot of, there are going to be trials and tribulations, dark night of the soul, and pain, trauma that you build throughout that process, because you can't grow as a human being unless you go through some shit. So I think for a lot of the listeners out there, it's like just identifying like, what is your number? What is your target? And whatever that is, that's totally cool for you. You don't need to have the same target as Brian. You don't need to have the same target as Daine. You can, like I would, but I'm not you. So I think that, what you guys have done in building the communities, you've attracted a certain kind of human being, a certain frequency, a certain mentality, where you've got these people that are all kind of pushing towards a much similar path and goal.
I said, you got to put out what you want to get back.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you attract what you are. And 100%. So Cole and I, like, it's not just me, by the way. I'm like, I love getting credit. Thank you very much. But like, my business partner, Cole, is a savage.
He is, man.
If you're in clean health ecosystem, like, you've probably heard him speak, or maybe you were at the event. Like, it's the Brian and Cole show, brother. It's like, because, and I think this is important to find people that, you want to grow with, that you want to reach the next level with. But that's why it's important to find a community, because I have Cole, and like, me and him are both like, we are both just all in on our goals. Like, we just want to be successful so bad. And we want PT Domination to grow. And we also want our personal brands to grow. And that desire is
you just triggered something. You just triggered something. So obviously, our partnership is new, 6 months, 7 months. Like, and obviously I know for you guys, like, we've done a lot of partnerships over the years. For you guys, it was probably, one of the first ones and bigger ones that you guys had taken an opportunity on. What have you found, from your experience now, are like the keys to having a successful partnership, and why have you found that beneficial to kind of, I guess, a lot of entrepreneurs want to do the whole me thing, and aren't willing to just let go and share the spoils of war per se.
Guys, you got to I'm first is understanding that you can go faster with the team.
Yeah.
You can just go faster. You'll just accomplish so much more faster with a team. And so I think with partnerships, I think it's number one, it's maintaining harmonious relationships. Like, if you want to have a social circle of people that support you and have your back and want to see you win, whether that's like business partnerships or even in your personal life, or even like with people that you keep around you, it's harmonious relationships. It's like, for me, it's like me and Cole have a harmonious relationship. And that means that like we support each other and we want to help each other win. But that also means when it's not harmonious, we talk about it, even when it's not fun. Like, if it's not harmonious, if one of us feels out of alignment with the other and we're not communicating, that causes unspoken resentment. And so our harmonious relationship is one where we are 100% with each other at all times about all things. And that allows us to live in harmony, because it's like we both have mutual trust and respect for each other, because we both know if at any point one of us feels another way about the other person, they're going to bring it up instantly, because we built up that level of respect. So a harmonious relationship is very important. And I believe that we have that with you guys as well. That's something that like we've both had conversations on both ends that were uncomfortable at the moment, but at the end of the conversation, we were like, boom, this was great. So harmonious relationships, I think, is really important. Second thing I think is important with partnerships is you need to give what you want to receive. We talked about this already. It's like, if you want people in your life that support you, that have your back, that want to see you win,
100%.
you better be being that person for other people. You
100%.
better be supporting your friends. You better be supporting the people around you. You better be the person that's like, you can do it. I believe in you. You got this. Like, that has to be you. If you want those people around you, you can't attract what you aren't.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, putting out the energy that you want to receive, like, this is my biggest thing is, like, I believe in responsibility. And one of my friends, Natasha, talks about this a lot. I believe in responsibility. So this is what this means, Daine. If I'm in my relationship with my partner and I'm like, I need more love from my partner, the first thing that I do isn't to go talk to Kirsten and be like, give me more love. The first thing that I do is I go and love Kirsten more.
Yeah.
Because why is it Kirsten's responsibility to give me something that I'm not giving to her? And so if I want more of the thing from my friend, from my relationships, then I go and I give more of that thing to the person that I want to be with. Like, whether that be like business, relationships, personal, me and Cole, whatever. It's like, you got to give what you want to get. And I think the third thing, and this is the most important in my opinion, is loyalty.
Yeah.
Loyalty. Loyalty means that I'm never, ever, this is my definition of loyalty. You might have your own. I will never, ever do anything that would I would never intentionally do anything that I know would take away value from you.
Yep.
That I know would break trust. That's loyalty. Loyalty means that I see you, I know who you are, I respect our relationship, and I'm willing to choose you over every other option.
And I think that links into just values, mindset, and philosophical outlook on life. Mm-hmm. I think, I would add that into everything that you've just said. Even if I just use us as an example, that first kind of time we connected, it was to chat about Lane Norton. We spent an hour just chatting with each other like we were on a first date, and then we're like, oh yeah, sure, we should talk about Lane now. So there was that philosophical alignment and outlook to the world. But I think, you get back what you put out, to your point. And then I think the other key area that you made there, which I wholeheartedly agree with, is wanting the people in your circle to win. Mm-hmm. Wanting the people in your circle to win. There is enough of every kind of resource on this planet, clothing, food, money, partners, whatever, for every single person to win if they choose it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Right? So I think like establishing, for me, the importance of partnerships is like establishing a collective of aligned individuals that are all working towards the same outcome, the same goal, the same mission, the same impact. They might have slightly different ways, personalities and intricacies with how they approach it, but at their heart, at their core, at their soul, they're still pushing towards the same thing.
Similar core values.
Yeah.
They share similar core values at like it's like, that is it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's, to be honest, talking about it makes me even more grateful for what we have, brother. So, much love and appreciation for you, man.
I feel that, bro. I appreciate you.
So what's next to kind of wrap today up? What's next in store for you this year, mate, heading into the back end of 2023? I know we were discussing yesterday an exciting kind of intention of yours that is starting to come into reality, man. Mm-hmm. You've been very open about kind of your goals. So
yeah, I'm super excited. So I've had it on my vision board for the last 3.5, 4 years that I'm going to be bigger than Gary Vaynerchuk. That's always been a goal of mine. That was my goal. It was on my vision board. And then I took it off because I feel like having a goal of being bigger than somebody else prevents me from being the fully expressed version of myself. However, I love Gary V. Think he's the GOAT. He inspired me to get into entrepreneurship. And that's a target that I could aim for. So this September, I actually I'm going to be at an event emceeing and opening for Gary Vaynerchuk, Ed Mylett, Andy Frisella, Tim Grover, Eric Thomas.
So cool, man. So cool.
Russell Brunson, Cody Sanchez. We're talking Brad Leah. We're talking the most stacked lineup I've ever seen. And I'm going to be hosting and emceeing this event, which I think it's going to be absolutely massive for my career. And I'm so grateful and excited for the opportunity. So that's in September. And then we're going to be hosting the PT Domination All Access event in September as well. So I'm flying to Utah to MC and host that event. And then I'm coming back to Kelowna. I'm going to be hosting my event in September, which I'm going to be announcing some of the details on the virtual here pretty soon. And we've got some really, really heavy hitters coming to that event as well. There's a guy named Eli Wild, who is Tony Robbins' record holder for the most amount of sales in 24 hours. He sold $12.7 million worth of Tony Robbins product in 24 hours. He's going to be coming to speak at our event.
Wow.
So that's really cool. So really, really stoked about the event in September. And honestly, my focus for the rest of the year is just make sure that PT Domination stays the number one business coaching program on the market. Me and Cole were talking about this today, and like PT Dom, when we started business coaching, our goal was to be the number one business coaches on the space. And at first, that goal seemed out of reach because there were some really big names. There was Tanner Chisliter, there was Sterling Griffin, and like these were like big boys in the space when I came in. But Tanner isn't really doing online business coaching for fitness coaches anymore. And when Sterling left, we took over. Like we were the number one option. And for the last 2 years, that's really been the case, is we are the number one option. And I never, ever, ever want to settle and like have that be enough and have that be the reason that I take my foot off the gas, which is why I get up at 3:30 in the morning every single morning, no matter what. Because I want to stay at the forefront of the industry. So my goal is to tap into my potential and see what I'm capable of. And, the Gary Vee event is a big part of that. We've got 300 people that are going to be coming to the PT Domination event in September. That's a big part of that. And I just want to see how far I can take this. So the goal by the end of the year is 2,000 Academy students. So that's the goal. That's the target. And that's what we're shooting for.
And that's what you'll achieve, brother.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, look, a lot of value provided there. No doubt, man, like the listeners to this have taken away a lot of value, a lot of gems that they can take away. I want to salute you, man. Thank you. Very grateful for having you on board the show. And we'll be talking again soon, all right, brother?
Yeah. And guys, I'm just going to plug myself. If you
yes. Where do we follow you?
If you love this message and you want to hear more from me, you can find me at The Real Brian Mark on Instagram. You can find me Brian Mark on YouTube, or the Change Lives Make Money Online Trainer podcast. Let's go.